Hello, everybody. We're here with episode 8 of Phillies Unfiltered. Can you believe it? Thank you for joining us. I'm Jim Russo here with my good buddy Brent Tracy. Let's get rolling today. How are we feeling this week so far, Brent?
I'm feeling like I need to go to my cardiologist.
Same.
It was a lot of ups and downs, but ultimately feeling good.
It was successful.
Yeah.
So we got some topics to go over today, of course. I have a random topic as a question that I'm going to pose to Brent to give us something a little change of pace here. Then we have Unfiltered at the Park, because as you know, we were at the game this past Thursday, so we're going to tell you about our experience there, and of course the weekly recap. Studs and Duds, new segment of Brent's idea, pros and cons of the week as well. And, maybe a random thought here and there, as well as Guess That Phillie, of course.
Yes.
All right. So, Brent, to start us off today, can you rank for me 1 through 5 Phillies uniforms from the current rotation? I think number 1 is clear. I'd love to hear everything else.
Sure, I can do that. Yes, we have talked about at least number 1, and I think we I don't want to give away anything for you, but we agree that the powder blues are supreme. It's a classic look. It's a clean look. I love the combo of the maroon and the light blue. It's my favorite. I love it. Yeah, I love when they wear it. I feel good when they're wearing it. So number 1, that is my number 1. Do you want me to give all 1 through 5, or do you want to go back and forth?
Yes, I want to hear your 1 through 5, and then I'll give you mine. I'm hoping that we have some differences here, honestly.
Me too, and I'm sure we will. So the powder blues would be number 1 for me. The number 2 one for me would be the I guess the Saturday or Sunday alternate, the pure. I guess it's white or off-white, cream color. I don't know. It's looked different at different times, actually, but I do like that. I enjoy that. It just signifies a nice day game. Usually, I like day games. And I like the blue hat, the blue and the red hat, the brim and everything. So that's number 2 for me. Is that I'll call it a Saturday or Sunday special. I think it's officially called the alternate one.
It's the afternoon games.
Yeah, there you go. And then for me, the classic home pinstripes, number 3. Okay. I like the pinstripes. I can't go wrong with that. It's a great look in baseball, especially. I think the pinstripes are a pastime of the pastime, if you want to call it that. So I like that for number 3. And then number 4, I'll go with the City Connects. They've grown on me. I didn't hate them ever, honestly. There were some really bad ones out there from other teams. The Phillies one didn't bother me. There were some renditions of it that I saw that never became a thing, but they were like artists kind of thing around the internet. Mm-hmm. And one was like based on the Betsy Ross flag, which I thought was kind of cool. But regardless, it has grown on me, and I know my wife has said the same thing. It's kind of grown on her too. So I like the Liberty Bell on it too, on the hat. I think that's a good touch. So, and then the 5th one would be the grays. I think it's not that it's bad. It's just that everybody has a gray uniform, and there's like a lack of uniqueness to it. Yeah, I think that's all it is for me. But they have good uniforms. I really don't have a uniform that they have right now that I hate. So, but what are your? Well, I'm curious now to hear your rankings, because I saw some faces during this, and I'm curious.
We're honestly very similar.
Oh, okay, all right.
Powder blue, of course, is number 1.
Naturally.
I can flip-flop with 2 and 3. I mean, the creams are a great alternate uniform. The home pinstripes, as you can see behind me on Bryce here, it is a classic look now for us, because that's a majority of our youth. That it had those pinstripes. The '93 team had those pinstripes. Like, our earliest memories of the Phils have those pinstripes. Yeah, I think it's a classic for us now at this point. And then I'll go number 3. I'll go with the creams. When they came into play, I was like, these are really cool. And it's a nice afternoon change of pace.
Yeah.
Number 4, I am going to go with the City Connects as well. They have, I wasn't the biggest fan of the full uniform, like the jersey, not that great to me at the time. Somebody said to me that the pants looked like somebody like a Philadelphia cop would wear.
Yeah.
I think the jerseys have grown on me, but I love the hat.
Yeah, the
I
hat's
think
the
I
best
think
part of it.
the hat is the best part of that uniform, and under the brim it
For sure.
has love under the brim with the bell in there, and like that's really cool. And as I just mentioned, I think the road grays are boring. Like
Yeah.
it's plain. Yeah,
Everybody has a gray, so it's not
right.
unique. I think that's my issue with it, and it's not their fault. Everybody has to have a gray; those are the rules. But
So, do you have a favorite, fellas? And all of our
yeah,
listeners, give us your thoughts if you can give some to us too. So that leads us on to our experience at the ballpark this past Thursday, where we witnessed a Phillies win.
we did.
However gut wrenching it was towards the end there. So Brent, first, how was the experience for you?
I had a great time. First of all, thank you for accompanying me.
Thank you for having me.
It was very fun. We had a great time reminiscing about our high school days and college days on the way to and from the ballpark. But being there was great. We had some great food and just kind of got there pretty early. It didn't look like they were doing batting practice outside because of the rain leading up to the game. So we were hoping to catch that, but it's okay. The seats are great. This is the first time I've gotten to use the season tickets that my wife and I got for the season. We got a 17 game plan, and great seats, great view. We had some really cool people around us.
Did.
Some really nice fans around us. The shore bomb went right over our heads.
Right over.
I actually looked afterward. I saw the highlight, and you can kind of see us at the bottom of the screen. There's I was wearing the powder blue Harper jersey, and Jim was wearing a pinstripe Phillies jersey, and you could see those two
Nice to see my hands
shirts
up.
next to each other, but I couldn't zoom in to see our faces. But using my
tried
deductive
to.
reasoning, using deductive reasoning, you could figure out. It was right under that Toyota sign in right field, folks. So if you're watching the game, you might catch us, me or my wife or Jim, me, whatever. You might catch somebody that right under there for a home run. So
That home
great.
run was an absolute moonshot.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't realize at first glance when we were watching it live, it did not look like it was pretty much at his chin level.
It was high.
A
Yeah.
really high pitch, and he took that thing to the moon.
When you
it was
usually
awesome.
hit it, when you hit it that high, at least when you see it go up that high at the ballpark, you assume it's going to be a fly out, probably. But that was gone off the bat, and we all knew it. Like it was going over. It was like, oh, that is. I think I said something, not explicit, but it was not appropriate for this family podcast. We'll say because it was just launched, and I said that had to be 450 feet, and this girl in front of us, because she had her phone out, she goes 444. I'm like, oh, it's pretty close. She was like, no, you were. I was letting you know you were pretty close with that one.
And boy, did they need that home run.
Yes, they did. Mattered.
Yeah. So, more about that game. I need to give my appreciation reluctantly to Taiwan Walker. I mean, he kept us in the game. He did not allow any runs. I'm going to pull up a little bit of his stats from the day. 3 hits, 1 walk. That's just fine with me. And 4 Ks. I mean, contact was made, but it was right at guys. He did exactly what he needed to do. We were talking over and over and over, back and forth about, I think he's going to be in another inning. Like you had him done after 5. I was expecting him to come back after 6 for 6. You were expecting somebody like Kirkering or Ross to come out.
I thought he was going to get shelled. My thought was, look, he did have a good outing through 5. I mean, he had a good outing. If you're Topper, get him out of there with that confidence, feeling good about himself. Because it was a gamble to send him back out there. I mean, it worked out obviously, but it's a bit of a gamble. He had that good outing, and I didn't want to see that unravel because we do need him at least for the next handful of weeks until Ranger is back and in form. Because even when he comes back, he's not going to be at full form. You don't know if the back's going to get tweaked again. We need Walker to feel good about himself to be able to put the innings out there, but no, I agree with you. You got to give him credit where it's due. He pitched well, and he didn't strike out a ton of guys, but the contact wasn't solid. They weren't barreling the ball up. It was a lot of, like you said, right at fielders, which is what you want. He's a sinker ball guy, splitter. That splitter, it was working. He got gypped a couple times too, actually, by the umpires. He was throwing pitches that should have been
Yeah,
strikes that were
he
being
did.
called balls. And I kind of as a good segue into a little tale that I have from the park. It actually involved Jim, but I witnessed
He
it.
did.
Jim was so into the game that he didn't even see this, but we were not far from Marsh. I mean, we were in right field, but Marsh was shaded toward us a lot of the game, because just how the hitters were. And folks, just so you know, Jim is very vocal at baseball games, but it's not the whole game. It's just when certain things happen, he will let people know his thoughts, and I appreciate that. I love it.
Keep it clean.
But you do, absolutely. But your voice carries, and this is the point of the story here. There was a pitch that Walker threw that was very clearly a strike. You'd see it everywhere on the ballpark, except the umpire, apparently. And Jim said, "Get your eyes checked." And Marsh looked right at Jim, right at him. And now, at first, I'm like, he might have just been hearing a sound and looking off or something like that. But I told Jim, and he goes, "Did you see what we saw, Marsh?" And he didn't look back then because he was locked in for the next pitch. Next pitch comes, same thing, almost the same exact location, same result, calls it a ball. And Marsh whips his head around and looks right at Jim. And I lost it because if you guys have been listening to the podcast, Jim's been pretty hard on him, and not unfairly, but has had thoughts about Marsh's performance. And it was just really funny because that's the guy who we connected with. And I've never had an experience like that or seen something quite like that at a park. But Marsh, knowing his personality, it's not shocking that he was doing that. But he looked right at Jim like, "What's your reaction? I need to know what it is." And I don't, it was just really great. And my wife is always saying, she's like, "Honey, they don't care about your opinion. They can't hear you." And she's like, "This undermines that argument because if he was looking right at Jim after that," I'm like, "I tried to tell you, they really do care. I think they do care." But
I
it
wish
was
I
great.
saw it. I
I
really
know.
do.
I like I said, the first time you could definitely, you could have been like, well, maybe he just was. The second time there was no mistaking it. The head whipped around right at Jim.
I
I
do
mean, it
know he
was,
was reacting to the pitches because that
yeah.
first one he crouched down like he's like what,
Mhm.
what? And like, did you see what we saw, Marsh? Or I saw what you saw, Marsh?
It was
Something
so
like
funny. I really loved it, and it was the fact that it was Marsh specifically
that. Out of all the
with
people,
you exactly is what made me laugh. So, and then you had a funny moment. We were in the car on the way home, and my wife called, and my daughter Emerson, who has, if you listened last week, she's a fan of Brandon Marsh, and Jim kind of was like, "I got to talk to your buddy." I had a conversation with Brandon Marsh, and she goes, "Hey, he's mine."
she did say that. I said you can have him, Emerson.
Yeah. So that was a great moment. I expect many more moments like that at the park. I mean, we're really close, definitely in earshot. And it's just that the park, even with the Rockies game, it was just electric. Everybody is excited. And it was just fun. It was just fun being there. And I had a good time. So anyway,
Me too.
that was the fun story for you guys for the podcast's first trip to Citizens Bank Park.
So I hope you guys appreciated that. We had a special request from a listener for that little Walker segment, which I was fine to give. It was reluctant because we've bashed Taiwan Walker this entire podcast, but he deserved his credit. I love the fire that he showed after what he struck out
emotion.
a guy. Like, I love that kind of thing. It's not like he's not showing up a guy, but he's pumped, and like that's a huge boost of confidence for him. So when he comes in to pitch some more later this season, within the next couple of days, most likely, he'll bring that confidence to the bump and hopefully perform.
Yeah. We need him to. Absolutely. So, all right, man. That was I loved it. I love the opening. I love the whole experience was fun. So
Yes.
so what
Yes.
what are we diving into, Jim?
So let's get into this past week, which was rather successful if you look at the record, but there were some standouts, good and bad, in some areas. So I'm going to start with you here with the stud and dud of the week.
Okay, so this is kind of tough, actually. I really struggled with this because we had more games to choose from this week, right? Last week
We
we just
do.
had a series a little bit easier to kind of pull something from that. We're looking at the Rockies series and we're looking at the Dodgers series. Two very different series for various reasons, but you know, uh, um, for me, I I'm gonna say Kyle Schwarber
Okay.
because not just because he hit the home run over our heads, but he
Okay.
did hit a couple home runs this week, and he's
He
hitting
did.
the ball. Like his batting average isn't in the toilet, and it's not like he's just hitting home runs and nothing else. He's getting singles. He's putting the ball in play. Yeah, he's getting strikeouts, and he's going to get strikeouts, but he's also walking, which he does too. I like how he's hitting so far. I mean, today he had a couple strikeouts, but he also had two walks. He was on base,
Mhm.
and he's had some home runs, and I like how he played this week. There's a lot of guys you could choose, though. I really tossed a couple of guys around. I thought about Nick today after today because of the Grand Slam, and he had another one during the Rockies series too, at home run to center field. But yeah, I feel comfortable saying Kyle for the
That's
week.
fair.
If you look at it as a totality, I think he's off to a good start. He's among the league leaders in home runs in the league in his first 2 weeks of the season, which I expect him to be all year. But yeah. So I would say for me, he's the stud of the week. For
All
me,
right.
the
I think that's
dud.
I think that's fair. Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah, go ahead.
the dud of the week. I I'm gonna have to steal yours from last week and go with Jordan Romano. I hate to do that
Okay.
but again, it's earned in my opinion. I mean, he's just got to be better. I have no confidence in him right now. It's early. I'm not going to say I'm not going to be one of these fans who's like, this was a stupid signing. This is a waste of money. It's a long season. We know he has talent. Topper was talking about it after the game today. His velocity is inconsistent right now. He's pitching 91 on some pitches, then he's up to 96 on other pitches. You've got to if that's your four seam fastball, that's not okay. You need more
So
consistency with that. And I think that's something that can be fixed. He needs to talk to his pitching coach. He needs to, work it out on the mound with himself, figure out his mechanics. But yeah, I mean, he's just not reliable right now. There's
I agree.
guys in that pen that I do trust. He's not one of them. So for right now, Jordan Romano, this week, he's the dud for me.
I that's a good assessment of that. I mean, he wasn't good today. He had a really bad game last week too, and like he didn't get any outs today. Bunch of runners on base and left Kirkering out to dry pretty much,
Right.
and ruined a chance for Sanchez to get that win.
And JT bailed him out on Friday night
Oh,
with the
he did.
in the ninth inning with the cuts. I mean, so even his successful outing, it was a little bit of luck and the fact that he has an amazing athlete behind the plate. I mean, that's really what it was.
Right,
I can't really give him a ton of
right.
credit for that. He was bailed out.
Let him sit a couple games before we get him back in.
Yeah.
So for my stud of the week, I was back and forth as well. I thought about a hitter, which would have been Edmundo Sosa. I mean, he's been fantastic. I mean, he's hitting over 500. That's
Yeah.
amazing. But I'm gonna give it to a guy that showed up once this week, and that's all he needed in Jesus Luzardo.
Yep. I
He
had a
was
feeling that's
he
where you
was
were going.
absolutely stellar.
Yeah.
I think he dominated the Dodgers. He
Yeah.
he made Shohei look terrible at times. Like that
The whole
that
series
what
we
the
did though.
sweeper. Yeah, that's true. But and like anytime he threw that sweeper to a lefty, they weren't touching it. Like
Yeah.
this was awesome, and he's another guy that showed a bunch of fire. Like you're seeing his mom and dad get interviewed, and
It was cute. Yeah, that was
I'm
really
not
sweet.
complimenting the broadcast, but still, but still, just I thought he was fantastic, and I would love to see more of that. I really hope that we do. Like he can be a big guy for this team, and like he's not pitching like a five. I can tell you that. And he's not a five on most of the teams in this league, and he's somebody that could. He's gonna make a huge difference, being a solid arm
Yeah.
in this rotation.
That's a great
As
great pick, by the way. That's a great choice. I mean, you
I
can't
don't,
you can't argue with that. He's been I mean, I knew he had talent, right? It was always about health
Right.
with him, but I didn't think he was going to be this insanely dominant out of the gate. And I mean, it's a long year, but he's off to a great start. And if
Yeah.
he can stay healthy, he could be a game changer for this rotation.
Hot take, I think the Phillies try to lock him up during the season if this continues. Like they did with Sanchez last year.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah. Well, and that's a trend
He's still
right now.
relatively young.
That's a trend right now.
That's
The
fine with me.
Padres just did it with what's his name?
Jackson Merrill.
Merrill, yeah, and then Ketel Marte, I think, got a deal as well with Arizona, if I'm not mistaken. So that was it was like a day apart or the same day, I think. They locked those guys up, and so that's a thing right now. They're not waiting until the end of the season if they know that they look good. You know,
Fine by me. Like I could have also given it to JT for throwing out 3 guys like that. That was awesome. Thankfully Trey got that tag down just barely, but he got it down. But hey, win's a win.
Yeah, absolutely.
As far as dud goes, I know I'm hard on this guy to begin with, but it's Alec Boehm.
I was considering him too. Believe me, it was either him or Romano. But yeah, it has to.
We were there on Thursday. First play hit to him, error. And how many double plays did he ground into this week?
That's what it is for me mostly. The errors, yeah, that's problematic. But the not lifting the ball when you've got a guy on third with less than 2 outs, that is baseball 101. You got to get the ball in the air.
Well, this is a problem with most of the team. I might get into that in a little bit. It's the first pitch swinging. Like why are he did it yesterday. He grounded into a double play where Tanner Scott threw 3 pitches yesterday for a save. Like, okay, Bryce roped what did you get? He had a hit, right? He got on. Yeah, he got a hit somehow. He roped the He roped the hit, and then Alec Boehm swings at the first pitch, and he's not legging out for a fielder's choice.
Yeah.
He's not gonna get a fielder's choice. He's gonna get thrown. He's gonna get doubled up. It happens way too much. Yes, he's a run producer, and we've seen him do it. But this is something that he's prone to do: is ground into a lot of double plays in inopportune times. Another guy's been doing that too in Max Kepler, but I think Alec Boehm we need to be a little bit harder on.
Well, I mean, Kepler's also walking. I mean, he is getting on base. I don't think he's gotten on base most of the games, honestly. I don't think he has a lot of games where he has not at least gotten on base. He's producing, and he's not hurting them in the field the way Boehm has at times.
Speaking of walks, Boehm's only walked once in the last 7 games.
Well, that's going to happen if you don't go up and select right pitches to hit.
He's hitting 167 in his last 7, 5 hits, 1 run scored, 3 strikeouts. I mean, at least you're not striking out, but you're grounding into double plays instead.
Right.
But you can't have a under 200 on base percentage and expect to be successful. And I texted you earlier. I was really happy with Edmundo playing for him today.
Yeah, it was the right call.
What did Edmundo do? He produced.
Yeah.
He played defense.
Even when he had a fielder's choice, it drove a run in.
He ran out the play, and he got on base. Just barely. He got on base. They scored a run. They win the game because of Edmundo's hustle.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it takes sometimes. Boehm doesn't really hustle. He's not fleet of foot. He's not somebody that's going to beat out anything. But I need more from him.
We saw at the game, we talked about it at the game we were at where he slammed the helmet down, when he struck out. And it was like, you're like, oh, here we go. I don't think you said tantrum, but that was basically the mindset, I think, for both of us was, here he comes. He goes into these funks where he's just like, acting kind of like a toddler, and you can't be doing that. He may make it very easy for the team to decide to let him walk and just let Aiden Miller come up into that spot. I don't know, but
I know we're 9 games into the season, but I've mentioned it several times. Which Alec Boehm are we going to see? And this is the Alec Boehm I did not want to see right now. He's not producing the way he's supposed to. I don't care about home runs for him. I know he should be able to hit some, but he needs to be driving in runs, especially in the 4 hole. And he's not. No, fix it now, Topper. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't think he's going to have a real long leash.
No, he shouldn't.
No,
if Edmundo's doing what he's doing, why?
Right. And I mean, to be clear, Edmundo has shown through his career that the longer he starts consecutively, the more he cools off. I mean, he's not a guy I expect to catch fire and just take Bohm's spot. I just don't think that's likely to happen. But as long as he is swinging a hot bat, Bohm better get it together because you do ride the hot hand, I think, while it's hot. I mean, you
Absolutely.
collect wins as you can. But yeah, I don't like how, and I'm fine with, look, when I played, I swung at the first pitch a lot, but if it was in my zone. I wasn't chasing it. I wasn't swinging at a pitch that wasn't in my hot zone, right? I like the ball a little bit middle out. I was kind of that was my preference. If the ball was there on that first pitch, I'm taking a hack at it. I'm going to swing, especially if it's in the middle of play. It's not up or down. It's right there. I'm going to take a swing at it because a lot of pitchers do want to get ahead with a get me over fastball, you know. And if it's there, I'll swing. But Bohm is swinging at these pitches that are at his knees and he's chopping them into the ground. Like you have to be
Right.
aware of the situation. And like you've talked about, if someone walks on 4 or 5 pitches right before you, you got to come up there and make that guy throw strikes. You can't be going up there swinging at whatever you see.
It's it's happening way too much across the team.
Yeah, it
Like
is. Yeah.
like why are you not waiting for a strike? Your guy just walked. He was wild. He threw 8 pitches to the batter before. Why are we swinging first pitch? Why are we even
Exactly.
swinging second pitch? Even if it's in the zone. Like you saw the ball. You need to see him throw a strike because why give him an extra one? You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it's that annoys me to no end. And how many times did I text you that this week? Like within the last couple days. Why are we swinging now? I need to see a strike. I need to keyhole this. I want one specific spot, but it's a lot of chasing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and but so there is a lot of chasing, but I will say this for this team. They are striking out minus that first game, which was abysmal.
Mhm.
They're striking out
Yeah.
less. They're striking out less and they're walking more. And that is a good thing.
Yes.
It's something they needed to get better at. And so far, there are noticeable difference. You saw today how many 11 walks that they took. Now,
Something
that
like
was a
that.
lot of
Yeah.
that was part of that inning that Glasnow, where he was having the gripping issue with
Yeah.
the ball. It was
When
getting
he
wet.
unraveled.
But he did. But the Phillies were patient. They waited, they got on base, and then Nick delivered that big blow, which was huge. But they have to do that. They have to take pitches, wait for their pitch to hit because it's going to look different to each one of them. And the one thing they are doing though is they're leaving guys out there still when they should be getting another run or two. Like they'll get one
Yeah.
run, and then it's like you could have gotten one or two, or should have gotten at least one or two more, and that does come back to haunt you sometimes. So I mean, look, we're complaining. They've started the season winning all 3 series they've played so far, which
They
is
did.
fantastic. And one of them was against the defending champs. And if nothing else, what they showed us in that series is they can go toe to toe with them. Yeah, Freddie Freeman was out,
Fine by me.
but Rangers out for us. Wheeler didn't even pitch in the series. We took 2 out of 3. And we've always competed against them. If we had met up with them last year, maybe not last year, because by the time we got to the playoffs, we were just dead in the water. But
Toast.
if we're playing good baseball, we can go. I've said it. I sound like a broken record, but we can go up against anybody, and that includes the Dodgers.
Definitely.
We went toe to toe with them this weekend. We looked like we belonged with them, and I'm not afraid of playing them. I think we have the superior starting pitching too. Wheeler not even starting this weekend. We still took 2 out of 3, and I can't even blame Nola that much. I mean, the home runs are
Yeah.
Nola. That's just but it was 3 runs. Overall, you look at
It
that.
was.
That's something the offense should be able to remedy, at least keep the game close enough, and they just didn't produce
This
runs in
offense,
that
yeah.
game. But yeah, I mean the one stat that's crazy is all of the up until today, all of the runs the starting pitching gave up were on home runs until today. Through this whole season, which is
That's
insane because the starting staff has been fantastic overall. But that's just
they
a
have.
weird. That's how baseball's a
It's
strange game. Like they've been
it's
so
accurate.
dominant, but when they do give up runs, it just happens to be a home run.
What Wheeler's let up 2 solo shots. Nola's let up 4 home runs. Well, that brings me to our pros and cons. Now that you've mentioned runners in scoring position and such, Brent, for pros this week, I have the starting pitching. You've mentioned it just now. Wheeler, dominant. Luzardo, dominant. Nola kept us in the game. Adequate, yes, moderate. I mean, and then, Sanchez had a good game against the Rockies, and he had a game today, but he kept us in it.
Yes.
And then obviously my reluctant speech earlier in regard to Taijuan Walker, who was, for lack of a better word, excellent for his terms.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy with what they provided. They kept us in the games. That brings me to the cons. Is the other side, the back end of the bullpen struggled to keep those games where they were. Jose was all over the place. Strom was throwing the ball a little bit all over the place at points, and of course there's Jordan Romano. It's the back end, those three, that have concerned me. I mean, Strom looked good today. Jose looked good today. It just hasn't been consistent to start. And then lastly, runners in scoring position. I mean, you shouldn't have to worry about the back end of the bullpen as much when you don't have, but you should have a bigger lead. You're getting, how many hits did they have on Thursday? What was it, 12, 13, and they had 3 runs?
Yeah, we were talking about that. The efficiency was very bad. They were 11, 12, 13 hits, and yeah, they were just really struggling to scratch runs across. So that was a little frustrating, but yeah. No, and you know what? I hate to do this, but I agree 1,000% with both of those. I can't just pick something else just for the sake of picking something else. You're 100% right. It's the back end of the bullpen. I'm not going to lump Strom into that so much. He's still coming back from the injury, and he has not been as bad. His ERA, I think, is still 0 as far as I know. And the results matter. Like, even if it's a little, but Alvarado, the game we were at, he was all over the place. I was losing confidence progressively. Yes, he did do better today. He looked better today.
He did.
I still don't have full confidence in him. And we've talked about Romano. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but he's not, he is just not it right now. It's a long season, and they're fortunately in a position where they are getting wins, and they can work through this stuff. They can give these guys outings to get their confidence back. You can put Romano in when you're up maybe by 6 or 7 runs, just to let him get that feeling of recording outs and working on his pitches. It's a long season, and that's a benefit of a long season, is letting guys work through things before you pull the ripcord and you have to go look somewhere else. They may need to. We've talked about that. We also have a possibility that if Taijuan, which I'm not holding my breath, is pitching like this in a month, then and Ranger comes back, maybe you put Ranger into the bullpen, and we talked about that because he has done that before, and you do have confidence that Ranger's going to get outs in tight spots because he's done that when healthy through his whole career with us. So
preserve him a bit.
Yeah. So they may have some options to remedy those issues at some point, but I don't know. I can't pick something else just for the sake of picking something else. And again, the starting rotation, of course, that's the pro of the week. They're the best unit on the team. They have been on paper, and they showed it this week. Wheeler was in Cy Young form, just looked unbeatable. Absolutely. Luzardo was too. Sanchez had the great Rockies start. Today was not good by his standards, but as you pointed out, was good enough to give them a chance, and they did win. The offense came through and gave them the win. He did what he had to do. It was not a great day weather-wise. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt on that. The grip on the ball is probably a little tough, and I don't have any concerns about Sanchez, though. He's going to be fine. I'm not worried about him at all, and I'm not worried about Strom. Honestly, I gotta look at his overall resume with us. He's been so steady and reliable. He was injured. He's coming back. He's looked a little bit better each time out, and I think today that was the Strom we'd like to see. That quick working, efficient, hitting his spots. It was great. Kirkring had a tough spot to come into. He did let up a run. It wasn't charged to him because it was Romano's guy on base. If I believe, I don't think that was Kirkring's fault.
No, it wasn't.
But still, you like to see guys get holds and figure that out. But I don't have a concern with Kirkring right now either. I don't trust him as the closer or anything right now. He may work his way into that if Alvarado and Romano don't figure their consistency out. But I I don't have any concerns with him in the seventh or eighth inning right now, Kerkering. I think that's a spot where I'm comfortable seeing him. At Strom too. Ruiz, we'll see. He had a good year last year. This year, we'll see. I don't know if he'll match the level he was at last year. But Tanner Banks so far has been okay. I don't think he's.
Same with Joe Ross.
Yeah, Ross has been surprisingly effective. So, the back end is specifically the issue right now.
It's really the back end. I'm not worried about the middle. It's the end of the game. Like, I shouldn't have to be worrying about my heart when Jose is throwing 35 pitches against the Rockies, loading the bases, and then struggling to strike out the two guys that he got at the end.
And it's not just that; it's the way it started. Right, you're up. Was it 3-1 or 3-0 when that inning started? I can't remember now.
It was
so
3-0.
3-0. Why are you walking a guy on 4 pitches? Lay the ball over the plate. You throw 98, 99 miles an hour. Just challenge him. If he hits a home run, so what? It's a solo home run. But don't give him a free pass and then let that cascade into the situation he got into. You can't do that. You have to throw strikes. And it's easy for me to say that. I'm not a professional pitcher, but he is, and he gets paid to throw strikes. So
and it burns the ball over the plate. It burned him for Friday in the process. You throw that many pitches and he's done. He's not going to pitch the next day.
Right. But he did, to his credit, he did look better today. I just need the consistency. I can't have this, what version of Jose are we going to get? I need to know that, I mean, you're not going to get every save you go out there to get. That's just, I mean, it's not how the game works. But I need to know that you're at least going to make it difficult on the other team. You're not going to give them free passes and make it like a walk in the park for them. And he does that sometimes.
I'm pretty sure I said we can't let this get to Doyle.
Yes,
I was worried, but thankfully we got them. They won the game. That's great. Yeah. Get it together, Jose. Thank you for showing promise today. Let's see it some more this week.
Absolutely.
Any additional pros and cons?
No, I think that covers it. I mean, the offense had its moments. We talked about it needs to be more consistency is always the issue with them and execution. But they're scoring runs in overall. They've had games where they've struggled, but overall, they are among the league leaders in runs scored. They are getting runs. And as it warms up, this team tends to warm up. That park, the ball jumps a lot more when it's not as rainy and it just the summer comes and the ball's flying out of there. I think they're going to really do some damage when we get into May, June, July,
And then before we get to Guess That Phillie, quick topic around the league. This has been hot. Torpedo bats. Any thoughts?
I don't have a problem with them. It's really this week that has exploded as a topic. I don't know. I think Bohm, maybe you mentioned tried it at once. Have any other Phillies?
I think they're making some for Stott. I saw something on one of the social medias that there were some in process for him.
Rob Manfred talked about it, and he supported it. He had no concerns or issues with it because it's probably going to lead to better offensive output, which is good. So
here's my take on the torpedo bats. I compare it to a sports team in the city and the tush push. Think about it. Think about every team tries it, just the Eagles do it better. Every team tries it, but the Yankees are doing it better, right?
Right.
Maybe they've perfected it right now. I mean, and then once you figure out, here's how I actually should pitch to Jazz Chisholm.
Right.
Yeah, they're hitting a ton of home runs, but there's other people using the torpedo bats, and they're trying. Ellie's doing all right.
So just for people who don't know, I could give a quick overview of what the torpedo bat actually is. So it was designed by a former MIT physicist to bring the most amount of wood or mass to the part of the bat that's likely to make contact more often. So, you're concentrating, just more of the wood on the bat in the spot that's likely to make contact with the ball. So, looking at it scientifically, it makes sense. But good pitchers can still defeat that. You can get guys to hit it off the end of the bat or jam them inside. It's not a cure-all. It's not going to make hitters invincible. You still have to put the sweet spot of the bat on the ball. All this does is make the sweet spot sweeter. That's essentially what it's doing. But we played. There's plenty of times when you thought you were going to hit the ball in the sweet spot and it moves at the last second, or you misjudge it, and you get a stinger off the end of the bat, and you're shaking your hands for the next half inning. So it's not I don't have a problem with it. Whatever. I mean, I don't think it's going to revolutionize the game necessarily. It's just the new thing. Players are either going to like it or they're not, and we'll move on with our lives.
They're still the Yankees, and they're going to win games. But in the end, as long as the Phils are winning games, I'm happy.
And they are right now. So
they are. So Brent, am I ready for your Guess That Phillie?
Well, we're going to find out. So this Philly was on the Phillies from 2001 to 2003. And they signed him as a free agent, as an amateur free agent in 1997. He made his debut with the Phillies on August 7th in 2001 at Veterans Stadium against the San Diego Padres. And then from 2001 to 2003, he compiled a 15-18 record in 65 games. He started 58 of those games. Then on November 3rd, he was traded to the Houston Astros for a guy you might know, Billy Wagner.
Billy Wagner trade.
Yes. Do you want me to tell you the guys in the trade?
So if you tell me the guys in the trade, it's going to give away.
No. I mean the guys that went along with this guy.
Okay. You know what? Go ahead.
For Billy. Okay.
All right.
You already have it.
No. Go ahead. No, go tell me the guys, please.
All right. So it was Taylor Buchholz, Ezekiel Astacio. Go ahead.
Was it Brandon Duckworth?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
I didn't even get to his jersey.
Yes.
Didn't even get to his jersey number.
I know, Brandon Duckworth. What a great name.
56, number 56, Brandon Duckworth. He showed like a glimmer of promise at the very beginning with us, but then just became very mediocre. So, I mean, I would say that was a good trade for the Phillies.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the Phillies made a decent amount of trades with the Houston Astros.
They did.
Hunter Pence, we
got him.
Hunter Pence.
Yep.
I mean, I wish we didn't trade J Happ. But
he ended up having a heck of a career.
He did.
But yeah, so it's funny. I didn't realize this, but he went on. He played some minor league. He was back and forth between the majors and the minors with the Pirates, the Royals. He signed with the Red Sox, and then eventually he went to play in Japan in like 2012, 2013, and then went on to be a scout for the New York Yankees. As of 2019, he was doing that. I'm not sure if he still is. I don't have that info, but. Anyway, yeah, that was it was a good one. You got that quickly. I had to barely give you any clues. You really redeemed yourself after the
Matt
Beach.
One. He's gonna haunt me. Yeah. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Finish it off for us, Brent.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us for a recap of an exciting week. It was a great week, and hopefully we will have more exciting weeks ahead. We're going to Atlanta on Tuesday. We are not, but the team is. And Atlanta is not starting the season all that well, but that scares me. I have a sneaking feeling that the Phillies coming to town might wake them up, and I hope that's not true, but I did read something that said that no team who started the season 0-7, which the Braves did, have ever gone on to make the postseason. My prediction is they will be the first team to make that go out the window. I really think they are going to make the postseason despite this start. The guys they have healthy right now aren't playing very well, and they're without Strider, their best pitcher, and Acuna, their best player.
Right.
But they're not out of it. The people laughing. I'm really getting annoyed at the Phillies fans that are trying, like, ha, ha, ha. It's like, guys, it's a 162 game season. This is the Atlanta Braves. We have seen this unit before. When they are healthy fully, they're dangerous. They're going to be competing for the division by the end of the year. It's early. This is not a good start. They're in a hole. There's no question. But mark my words, by the end of the year, they are not going to be 10, 12 games out. They're going to be in the thick of it with the Phillies and the Mets like we talked about last week. So anyway, I do think the Phillies are playing good ball. I think that we stand a good chance of winning the series, but it's the Braves, and no matter what, all the teams in this division play each other tough, no matter how good or bad they are. So I just wanted to put that out there. So that'll be we'll be talking about that, yes. But we want to thank you all for listening. You could hear us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Facebook at Phillies Unfiltered Podcast, Instagram at Phillies Unfiltered, Twitter/X at Funfiltered. That's PHUNPHILTERED. And on YouTube at Phillies Unfiltered Podcast.
Well done.
That is it. Thank you. So with that,
as always, go Phils.
See you guys.
Bye, everybody.